Fire me up, Brady! Ah! Let's go! This guy's silky. Welcome back. Welcome back to Chicago Hockey Radio. I hope every single one of you read some articles and drank some coffee this morning to prepare for this show. If you didn't, I don't even want to talk to you. Simple as that. We've got a big show planned today. I'm going to be talking about the couple of games last night. Of course, the Hurricanes taking down the Capitals, the Oilers taking down the Golden Knights. Hawks are picking third. They slide one spot down in the draft lottery, unfortunately. We're going to get into that in a second. But first, I am Lee Grossman. This is Justin Lynch. With us as well is Raven Gasser and Tassos Kirkos, per usual, drinking coffee and reading articles in the other room, as he does better than anyone. If you guys are new here, if you're not new here, whatever it may be, hit the subscribe button on this YouTube channel. Hit the post notification bell so that you know when we're going live. Follow the Instagram, follow the Twitter, follow the TikTok. And if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate us 5 stars and give us a nice little review. Unless it's mean, then you can keep it to yourself. Justin, the Blackhawks are picking third in the draft this year. How do you feel about it?
Okay. It could be better, it could be worse. So, look, we said it going in, it was very realistic. The Hawks could drop in this draft, and that they did. But thankfully, only one spot, not two. Top 3 pick, still pretty good. Hawks have drafted some pretty good players over the years at number 3 overall. Jonathan Toews, Denny Savard, Eddie Olczyk, and Kirby Dach, of course. I'm just kidding about that one. And Cam Barker is also kind of a miss. So, yeah, it's been a hit or miss pick
Yeah,
for the
it's like you're either a Hall of Famer or a bust.
Or a bust.
And that's
yeah,
what
there's no in between. You're either Savard, Toews, or Dach or Barker. So we'll see which direction we go here. But
we'll see what direction we go.
Yeah, it's a poor pick, man. It's actually a super important pick. This could be, well, we'll see what happens next year. This could be the last, super high top 3 pick we get. Maybe we get lucky next year, like the Islanders did, and there's a pretty good player in that draft. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But no, I don't know about you. Pretty much the last 2 days since that draft lottery, pretty much all I've been doing has been watching scouting reports and videos and tape of. That's pretty much what I've been doing. So I have a pretty good idea of who I want. I reckon we're probably going to be on the same page here. We shall see. But yeah, definitely looking forward to discussing this topic over the next month and a half for sure.
Yeah, let's dig into it. Before we start talking about the Martone, Frundell, O'Brien types, let's get this out of the way. If Michael Meese is available at 3rd overall, we're taking him without thinking about it for a second.
Yeah, and that's not even a debate, right? That's not even a question. Yet there's still some people who are throwing out names. It's no, if Meese is at 3, there's no debate. He's the guy. He's the perfect type for this team, the perfect fit. It would be nice. It's not totally, there's not a non-zero chance of that happening too. It's very unlikely. Don't get me wrong, he's probably going to go 1 or 2, but he could drop to 3. There are a couple scenarios I could see. James Higgins is from Long Island. Maybe the Islanders, maybe that factors into their decision there. I would be surprised, if you're picking guys just because they're a fan of your team growing up, that's a little silly. But, they could go down that route. He was, I'd say, the 2024 portion of the year was expected to be the number 1 guy, and his stock kind of dropped a little bit in the 2025 portion of the year. But no, James Higgins could go 1, then that would leave Schaefer to San Jose, then Misa drop to 3. That's one scenario. There's a second scenario too, where Schaefer, they do decide to go Schaefer at 1. Then the Martone, I don't know if you noticed, he's been playing over in the World Championships with Macklin Celebrity.
Yep.
And apparently those two have been showing some pretty good chemistry of each other. So maybe the Sharks see that. Maybe Mike Greer sees that and
Craig
decides
Button
to
did
go with Martone instead of Misa. And then Misa drops to us at 3. Yeah.
Craig Button did go on TSN and say that he thought that the Sharks were going to take Martone at 2. So, I mean,
it's Craig Button. He's another guy who's hit or miss, but
yeah.
And not just him, like Steven Ellis. I know he was definitely on that train where it's like the Sharks should be doing everything they can to get those two together. I mean, they're kind of in a similar boat where that seems to kind of be what they're missing, is kind of that power forward type up front. So yeah, I mean, it would make sense, but I would still be surprised. Like Schaefer's gonna go. We know he's gonna go in the top 2. We need some other forward to go ahead of Misa, but I would be shocked. Like he appears to be, but on all intents and purposes, he appears to be the best forward in this draft. So I would be surprised if he dropped to 3. But you never know. Hawks could also decide to, work the phones and maybe try to trade up if they really want him that badly. You never know. We'll see.
I just think with the Sharks having, Celebrini and Smith already as the 1-2 punch.
They don't need another center, right?
Yeah, no. So maybe we just hope that they let's take the big powerful winger here and then leave us with Misa. But if they don't, you want Porter Martone in that 3rd spot, don't you?
Yes. No, I think Porter Martone, if Misa's not available, he's the pick for me for pretty much all the reasons that I outlined with the Sharks over there. Same for us, right? We're kind of missing that power forward with size in the top 6, right? In winger too, we have a lot of centers. I know Misa's a center, but you can kind of move some of those guys to the wing if you needed to. But no, Porter Martone, like he kind of checks a lot of missing boxes of this team, right? Good playmaker, scorer, right? I think he and Bedsy would probably that would be a pretty nice 1-2 connection there. He has pretty high hockey IQ from what I've seen as well. Some concerns with his skating, but it's not like we don't have guys in this team who can move, right? We have plenty of that. If he could be kind of that Tkachuk type of grinder in the top 6, I'd like to see a little more physicality out of him. I'm not really sure if that's his game, but he definitely has a size and frame to support that. But just for everything I see, like in terms of fit, Martone makes the most sense after me, so for sure.
Yeah, I was watching some Frundell stuff this morning and yesterday a little bit. And I do understand why people think he'd be a good fit for the Blackhawks. Like with the things that he's good at, like he is good along the boards. He is good 2 ways, and he's probably got the best one-timer in the draft. I mean, that one-time slap shot is absolutely wicked. So I could see why you'd want to, grab that guy and have him playing with like a Frank Nazer or a Connor Bedard. But I just think that Porter Martone makes more sense there. I think you let Bedard play center, you put Porter Martone on the wing. I think that makes a lot of sense. But then I think if you take Frundell, then it's like, but like Bedard should play the wing in that case scenario. Like that's kind of how I feel, because I think Bedard and Frundell would complement each other very well. And so it's like, all right, you have the big, powerful 2-way guy playing the center position, and then you let Bedard just make plays on the wing.
Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted Misa so bad, because I feel like that'd be the same scenario where he could be center and then move Bedsy to the wing. So yeah, Frundell, he's also played against pros too, whereas a lot of these guys played against junior players. Like from what I've seen of his tape, he could be a guy who maybe could slide in right away too. Like I don't really know if he needs another year. Like he could play in the NHL next year, which I wouldn't say that would be the case for a lot of guys in this draft. I'd say probably Misa, even he's not a certainty, but Martone would definitely go back, or he might be going to college actually, and Higgins definitely needs another year. So he definitely appears to be like amongst the most NHL ready. Frundell, I will say, watch his tape; it's good. Like there are some people who are talking him up to be the next, like I don't know, Leon Draisaitl or something. It's like he's good, but number 3, like I'm not sure I'm taking him over Porter Martone or even like a Higgins. I mean, I don't know. I think Higgins maybe, but. Yeah, I'm not really as sold on him as I've seen others. I know there's a lot of people on Hawks Twitter especially who are very sold on him. I have seen some of his stats, and I think he's put up better D1 numbers over there than guys like Nylander and Pasternak. So that's pretty impressive. Like he's definitely a solid like number 3 option, I'd say. But like there are a couple guys that definitely pick ahead of him. Yeah, if we were picking like 5, but 3, I don't know. Yeah.
And we've had a couple of kids in chat that are really high on O'Brien from Brantford, and like what I've seen from him, like he does seem like a a talented player with a good motor and a good playmaker, but I just like don't think you take a guy like that at third. Like if you're gonna take a guy like that at third, you either trade down or just trade the pick, honestly. And
or
that's
trade for another
thing,
pick.
Is would you be open to trading the pick for a player that's already in the league?
The trading the number 3 overall pick for
Correct.
No, not
what if you bring in like a superstar? What if you bring in like an all-star?
You consider it, but I just don't think the Davidson's going to be trading the number 3 overall pick. But I think I would consider using the Toronto first and trading up for another top 10 pick or something like that, or maybe using that pick to get some of that type of player. But trading the number 3 overall pick, I'm not interested in that.
Okay, yeah. All right. What if it's like a Barzell, Tage Thompson type? Still not interested?
Yeah, I just don't really think you'd see these types. I mean, you think Davidson's a type to pull off that type of maneuver? Maybe he is. I don't know. But I just think this could be the last top pick we get. I'd rather use it. Yeah.
I just want to see him be aggressive with the picks, whether that means trading them for stars that are already in the league or packaging later round picks to try to move that Toronto pick up, to a top 10 pick. I just want to see aggression, to be honest with you, this summer, because, we still have yet to get the coach. And I mean, we've got Kyle Davidson clips to play, but I don't know about you, but I want to see him like going for it. I don't want him to just use the picks that he has. And
no, I agree with that, but just not the top pick. Like I agree with that. We have a lot of draft. We have like 9 draft picks in this draft. Like we don't need to use all those picks, but I think the top pick, like for me, that's untouchable. Yeah.
Okay. All right, dude. Should we listen to these Kyle Davidson clips that we have?
Yeah,
here?
I mean, there's always so much you could get from KD. As you know, he's Mr. Politician. Doesn't really give you anything, but yeah, we can listen to what he has to say about the number 3 overall pick.
You want to get our rankings? Well, honestly, I think that's really something we don't necessarily do that that early. That's what we're gonna start to do anyways. We won't even get that far next week, and then in June we'll really hammer that down around combine time, where we get into tiers and different rankings and stuff like that. I think at this point it's the scouting calendar is for the most part closed. You've got we just finished U18s down in Texas, and then Memorial Cup still going on with some draft eligibles, and so we'll get a sense of where all the scouts feel their players are in their regions, and the crossover scouts come in and weigh in on that. But the thing about the draft is there's always a lot of public discourse, and then I feel like there's always those people suggest their surprise picks, but that's just people seeing the board differently, right? And that's what makes the draft exciting, and everyone has different opinions, different thoughts on what makes players successful, and so I think ours versus any other team is going to be different. It's going to be different from public, and so it's exciting to kind of get behind the curtain and really hammer away at what those tiers are, as you'd call it, or the rankings are for the Blackhawks, and what our staff believes and how we see things lining up. And so we're excited to do that, but we're not quite at that point yet.
Yeah. So what do you think there? Do you think Kyle Davidson's going to be going for best player available? Like, I mean, he kind of acknowledged what they think and what the public think might be different. Yeah, I don't know. What do you take from that?
I think he should be. I think that's how you should be drafting best player available. But as we know from KD, he said that before. He said that last year. Oh yeah, we're going off of best player available, and then chose not to do that. He went off of positional needs. So KD's a guy where he finds his type in the draft. He drafts based off of his type of player, right? So I'm not really sure that's how he's going to go this draft. Like I said, I think if Misa's available, there's no question. But I think this draft reminds me a lot of 2019, right? Where it's like the top 2 seem kind of set. From 3 onwards, there's kind of a debate there. So what I'm saying there could be some surprise pick we don't see coming at 3. I would hope KD doesn't overthink it and just take BPA, take Bartone. Don't go for your type again, but it wouldn't shock me if he did that. I mean, we've seen it before, right? Yeah.
But if it is BPA, is that not James Higgins, do you think?
It's debatable between him and Martone. Yeah. I mean, I think you can kind of flip-flop those two. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, dude, I definitely don't want them to get cute with this. Like, if
Yeah.
you're gonna take a guy that could be available at 7 or 8, like, what's the point of doing that at 3? That's like my whole thing. And I know we're not gonna get anything out of Kyle Davidson because, like, why would he be like, oh yeah, we're leaning towards this kid this early? But yeah, I don't know, dude. I remember being really frustrated with the pick last year, and obviously we had some time, and I've loved the way Levshinov has looked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like keep it simple, and like if he does go for like an off the board pick, he's just setting himself up for more scrutiny, you know?
Yeah.
Evan in chat said public discourse equals Hawks memes post.
There you go. That's my job. That's what I tried to do last year. It didn't exactly pan out. I tried to, exclaim for what I want, what the fan base wants. Not that everybody agrees with me, of course, but I am an outlet there. I doubt they're paying attention to what I'm saying, but yeah, what you brought up there, BPA, I do like James Higgins a lot. Like, I wish he just doesn't really seem to be what this team needs, right? Like, he's a very skilled player. He might have like amongst the highest ceiling in this draft class, to be honest, his talent. There's no doubt about it, but again, like this, we just have so many undersized guys in that top 6. So like with Higgins, I just don't really feel like he, fills a need with this team compared to Martone. So if we were picking at 4, Martone was gone, I'd be all over Higgins at 4. But for me, just for the reasons I outlined, I think I'd give the edge to Martone over Higgins. But it's a debate for sure. But it really should be between those two, like maybe Frundell. Like there really shouldn't be. I'm surprised how many other names I've seen thrown out there at 3. There's that Caleb Denoye guy too I've seen thrown out there. Some other guys like the McQueens and Eklunds. Like, why are we like, dude, this is the 3rd overall pick. Like let's not, I don't know. Like, I feel like we do this every year. These players that come in last minute. There's a lot of hype around them. It's like, keep this simple, man. Like, this should be between a couple guys that are very clearly number 3, I don't know.
If they do take Frundell at 3, are you going to be like upset like you were last year?
Maybe not like last year. Because there's a debate there. Like Martone, like I think he should be picked at 3, but it's not like anybody's saying like, oh yeah, he's the clear-cut number 3 guy. I watched Frundell's tape and I see what he could do, and you're picking another forward, right? It's not like you're going off a position. Like the Hawks are good at pick a forward at 3. There's no doubt about that. There's no debate there, right? So, well, I do see what Frundell can be. I understand why people are on that train. I'm not as hyped on him as others, but I wouldn't be that upset about it. Yeah.
Okay. And Kyle Davidson was also asked and talked a bit about the coaching situation. We do have a clip of that. Raven, could we listen to that one?
Yeah, give me one sec.
No worries.
Yep, no real timeline. We're going through the process right now. We're really excited about the people we've gotten to talk to, we will get to talk to, and so it's not necessarily about timeline. We just want to get this right, and we want to make sure we have all the information to get it right, and that's kind of what we're going through right now. I don't think so. No, it's so hard to for someone, even if you coach or take like your pro staff, right? Your pro scouting staff, they don't have the insight into that player pool, and it's just it's a totally different animal, and it's a unique process that we run through that's very specific to the people that are involved every day, and the amateur staff and our strategy teams. And so it's not really something that the head coach or anyone else would be all that involved in, other than just as a spectator.
All right. Well, he said earlier that he would like to have a coach by the draft, but
and now there's no timetable. I guess they'll just figure it out when it comes to them, right? Yeah, take your sweet time, Kyle. Yeah, there's no rush, right? When you feel like it, find your guy. Yeah.
Are you kind of getting the vibe maybe that this isn't as like I don't know, ideal of a situation as maybe we'd like hope it was for potential new coaches?
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably would have had it figured out by now, because I mean, obviously they're really high and aggressive. I think they're on the same wavelength as us, where they were super in on David Carl. It's like, I'm not really sure how like expansive the list was after that. I'm sure now it is, obviously, and yeah, it's like we talked about this coaching thing before, where it's like there's no clear, obvious choice here. 1, Like there's no perfect solution. Like Carl was up a table there, which is kind of another reason why I was upset about dropping to 3, because like the perfect solution is off the table, it seems like. So yeah, basically bottom line is this offseason is going to be a little trickier than we anticipated. Like there's definitely a lot of debate here around a lot of topics like the coach, like the draft pick, and etc. So but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens there. I would hope he has that figured out at least by the draft, at least. Like, don't let that wait too long. But I imagine he's in the process right now. But yeah, I am a little nervous about it, not going to lie, because we can't afford to get this thing wrong. We got to find the right guy. And I just hope he doesn't, I hope they get it right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we've talked about how important it is to nail this. And it does suck that David Carl turned us down, and he also just signed an extension with the University of Denver for several years. So, I mean, probably not going to be coming to the NHL super soon then. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It just seems like they were like right at the end of the year, they like Kyle Davidson seemed like he wanted to be like really aggressive with the search and like get this done early. And then it obviously didn't pan out with a couple of guys. And now they're like, yeah, we're not really like rushing it. There's no timetable.
Yeah.
So it is a little concerning. I hope they get it right. And who knows who they're talking to and who they're potentially interviewing. I would like to have it happen sooner rather than later, but
yeah,
we'll just have to see.
That's the thing, dude. It's like we haven't really heard anything about this since. Like I feel like other teams at least kind of know who they're renowned, like the Ducks. Like I guess that's kind of the way Davidson operates. Like he doesn't really tell you anything, which maybe is the right way to go. But yeah, it's like just the lack of noise around anything at this coaching decision right now. It does worry me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but no, like I'm sure we'll figure it out. But it's super important, right? Like I would still say it's the most important decision of this offseason, even more important than this number 3 overall pick. So, this coach, he did say he'd prioritize a guy, like you said in the clip, who's good with the young players, etc. But that's where I'm hoping he goes along that route for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I think we can move on from I guess that was Blackhawks hour here. Some Blackhawks talk for you guys, brought to you by CHR. Before we get into the games from Monday and last night, do you want to fire off some NHL news and stuff that's been going on?
Yeah, sure. We finally got, I think we kind of already knew this. It was kind of leaked, but yes, we have our new NHL franchise here, rebranded the Utah Mammoth. Not the Mammoths, the Mammoth, singular. So, and I don't know if you see the logo on the jersey and all that, the logo is pretty nice. The jersey looks like it took like 5 minutes to create on NHL 25 or something. It's like a custom jersey. It's like, really? That's the best you could do? And the road jersey is just the recycled Utah jersey. So, okay, I guess, it's fine. It doesn't really like move me, but no, a decent name. I think Outlaws. I was kind of on the Outlaws train. I thought that would have been pretty cool, but Mammoth's nice. It keeps that Ice Age theme going. We got the Predators in the Central Division, right? We got the Mammoth, so we got Manny from Ice Age versus Diego, the Saber-tooth Tigers. So that should be a pretty nice rivalry there.
Manny versus Diego. Let's go.
All we need is like a Sloss in there somewhere, and we got all the Ice Age characters in there.
Yeah, maybe that's the Houston expansion team. Will be
there we go.
The Houston Sids or something. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to talk about the fucking Utah Mammoth. I wish they could have figured something out with the Utah Yeti. I just thought that was such an elite name that I know they had like trademark issues and whatnot, but it's like, there's got to be a way around. Like, there's got to be someone you can pay to make that work, right?
What kind of lawyers do they got over there, dude? Like, how are they able to make that work? You're a professional NHL franchise, really? Like, and you're falling victim to a cooler company or something. But it's okay. Like, it's not. I'm not. It could have been better, yes, but it's better than the Utah Hockey Club, right?
Is it? I might like the club more than Utah Mammoth. Yes, I think I do.
Wow. Okay. Well, you're a big soccer guy, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But, Utah HC it does sound cool, but Utah Mammoth. Yeah. Again, I think they sold with it being. I think Utah Mammoths would have been cooler. Why is it one Mammoth? Like every team is like there's a plural. Why is it just one Mammoth? I don't understand.
Maybe it's just like the grammar. Like maybe that's is the plural version of Mammoth.
Is it just Mammoth? Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not a grammar merchant here, but maybe it is. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's all right. I'm looking forward to seeing that next year, something new. And we'll see if they have better luck than the Coyotes. Yeah.
Celebrini, Hudson, and Wolf are the Calder nominees. I think I know who you don't think should be the Calder winner, but who do you think should be the Calder winner?
Yeah, I mean, Celebrini, obviously, I'm not even sure what he's doing here, right? I think Beachcomb should have been there instead of I'm just kidding. Yeah, I understand it. But no, in all honesty, though, like taking the bias shields off, I still think Lane Hudson should win the Calder, in my opinion. Like, I thought he had the more impressive season compared to Backlund Celebrini. But even Wolf, like, just the way he carried that Flames team almost to the playoffs, right? Very deserving. I know there's some Philly fans who are upset about Beachcomb being snubbed, but I think that was kind of fair. I think leaving Wolf off would have been a bit disrespectful. So, yeah, I think Hudson should take it.
Yeah, for Michkov, I mean, it's just there were other guys that did
Yeah.
more for their teams. Like what Hudson did this season at Montreal was crazy, and like even in the playoffs, that kid's obviously going to be a stud for a really long time. But I just feel like those numbers, like he was their top blue liner. Like they made it to the playoffs. I just you can't not acknowledge that. So I think he'd be my my pick to win it. But what do I know? Moving along, Chris McFarland says that Jared Bednar is going to be returning as the head coach for the Colorado Avalanche next year. I mentioned that on the show, whatever it was, Monday or Friday. As like, I don't know, is that a team that could maybe use a new voice? Chris McFarland says no. I guess you're not surprised by this because
No, I'm not surprised by this at all. He's been there a while. I mean, besides his first season when they sucked, I think they've been in the playoffs literally every year. So a couple early exits, but I think the first round exit, versus the Stars is a bit different, right? Like that's a team like we've said before, that's not really a first round type of matchup, right? It's really a conference final type of matchup. So, so yeah, I mean, I know you've lost that team a lot, but he's accomplished so much of that core. I really saw no reason to fire him. Similar to Cooper in Tampa. Like I thought those reports are kind of exaggerated. So I'm not really surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm not surprised. I didn't bring it up as like I think they gotta fire him. Like it's not necessarily that it's a fireable offense. It's just like, all right, you've lost to this team a couple times now. You haven't been able to get over the hump since 2022. Like it's I mean, we see this happen in pro sports all the time where it's like it's not necessarily that a coach is getting fired or let go of because he's like doing a horrible job. It's just like look, it's this league's all about production. It's all about winning.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really the reason why I brought it up. But
yeah, I mean, it's totally fair. I think the fact that he has a fairly recent cup probably helps him there. But you're right. I mean, he's been there for like 9 years now. It's going to be a decade. So he has, I mean, a pretty long leash there. I mean, we don't really see that in the NHL these days, right? It's tend to be the opposite. So, but yeah, I mean, I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah.
And then more upsetting news. Doug Armstrong says that it's unlikely Torrey Krug will ever play in the NHL again. I mean, that's not ideal to hear. You don't like hearing guys' careers get cut short because of
no, it's unfortunate. Yeah, he had a good career too. I remember watching him as a kid. The 2013 Bruins team is. Yeah, I think that was his rookie year actually when he came in and was a big part of that team that obviously we faced in the finals and lost to. But well, they lost us. But yeah, good career for him. Sucks sad then that way, but decently lengthy career and very successful. So. But yeah, you never like to see a career end like that. You want to leave on your own terms. I think when it's taken away from you like that, it's definitely a tough feeling for sure. So unfortunate. Yeah.
And he seems like a good personality guy. Like hopefully he can find something after hockey that, sparks that passion in him. And
I'm sure. Yeah.
The path continues. All right, let's that's CHR news for you. Let's
we actually got something else that's pretty cool. So this is pretty funny. Do you see that Eric Stahl was named like special assistant to the general manager in Buffalo, which I got office vibes to that, like he's assistant to the regional manager or something, which
what does that even mean?
That's the most Buffalo Sabres like job position ever. Like, what does it? Yeah, like you said, what does that even mean? But I thought that was worth bringing up just because I thought that was really funny. So, but yeah, Eric Stahl to Buffalo. There you go. That's it for news.
That's if Tassos gets the GM job of the Blackhawks, that's going to be the position he gives me. What was it again? Can you say that again?
The special assistant to the general manager.
The special assistant. Yes.
The special assistant.
I'll be the special assistant. Okay. Let's do it. Let's talk Leafs Panthers. Good game on Monday. It was a nervy ending. I don't know if Tassos is still over there and if he wants to hop on or not and give his thoughts, but Leafs started the game awesome. I mean, it was like 4-1 after 2, I think.
Yeah.
Dominated the first 2 periods. Just looked like the better, faster team. Honestly, for me, it didn't look like the Panthers were playing their game at all. It didn't look like they had any legs. They were just not like going through the motions, but it felt like a mail-in effort in the first 2 periods of that hockey game to me.
Yeah, I felt like they were kind of warming up to it, right? Feeling the Leafs out, which eventually they did. I mean, they nearly put off the comeback there. It looked like the Leafs are going to pull off one of their universal chokes there. But yeah, I mean, the first like half of that game, it felt like they weren't really in it. Definitely not very un-Panthers like. You don't really see that very often, but didn't really cause a need for me to panic or anything. Like, you know, we've seen this before where sometimes there's a game in a series and not fully in it. I mean, I think for the Leafs, this is a more important game for them to take, right? At home, Aaron Ekblad's out of the lineup, right? I mean, you got to take that one. You got to take the series lead here. And they did. Credit to them. They almost put off the choke, but didn't quite do it. So, but up for Florida, I'm not worried. I mean, down 1 game. Oh, well, like they'll bounce back. That doesn't really concern me at all. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we should talk about the game still a little bit more before we get into the drama of it. I don't know. Yeah, the third period was nervy, and obviously Stolar's leaving, which we'll get into in a second. I thought Woll came in and looked really shaky, but I mean, to be fair to him, it's a brutal position.
You don't
to come
expect
into.
that. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, he let in 3 of 20. In the Panthers, you could tell, like right when Woll came in, the message was just like throw everything.
Fire the puck on that. He's a cold goalie.
Everything at this guy. And it worked out. I mean, you start to see some that third line get going a little bit. Marchand with a pair of assists. I thought they were going to complete the comeback, and then after Matthews had that opportunity to hit the wide open,
he missed the wide open net
and missed, and there was still a minute left. I was like, dude, Florida's going to come back and tie this.
That would have been so funny, man. Oh, I wish I could have pulled that off, but yeah. It doesn't concern me. Yeah.
I hated the way that Florida like tried equalizing after Bennett scored that like late goal with 2 minutes left. I hated the way they were just like they didn't try to get anything set up in the zone. It was like right when they got into the zone, they were just trying to throw the puck at the net, and it was like I think you could have gotten at least a half decent look and not just
better
like,
high quality look.
Yeah, they were just throwing it through traffic, and it was just like none of them were getting to the net. So. I feel like maybe they could have done a bit better there, but credit to the Leafs for hanging on and surviving because, yeah, I completely agree with you. I thought that was like as close to a must win as it gets for a game 1.
Yeah, so no credit to them, right? I think I saw a stat like it's the first series lead they've had after round 1 since like 2002 or something. It's been 23 years since they've led a non-first round series, so that's pretty wild. Better start for them too compared to last time they played them in 2023, right? Good to get the early edge, but.
Uh-oh. Did I just lose him?
I think I lost him too.
Okay.
But maybe he comes back. Otherwise.
No worries. It is a shame because Tassos and I talked about it on the stream extensively yesterday for like an hour. We've got Justin back. So Justin, what was your take on the Sam Bennett collision there with Stolarz? Obviously horrible to hear the news about Stolarz like leaving for the hospital and on a stretcher and like throwing up, like gruesome shit to hear. But did you see a lot in that collision between Bennett and Stolarz?
I gotta be honest, like I'm so confused by this whole thing. Like I really didn't see a lot there, and yet there are some people who are making this out like Sam Bennett's like some type of like I don't know, like I didn't see much there, man. Like he hardly touched him. I thought. I didn't really think it was intentional or anything. I just think that's playoff hockey, man. Like you're going to get those in tight situations. Like there's going to be contact. There's going to be shit happens, right? So I didn't really think that's what caused Stolarz the injury anyway. I think it was probably the 100-mile-per-hour slap shot to the face, not the kiss of an elbow. I don't even know if it was the elbow. I don't even think it was. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the whole deal was there. It was confusing to me. Obviously, it sucks for Stolarz. You hate to see him go out like that. He's been so good for this Leafs team. You hate to see him go out in a stretcher, and I think he's going to be out for game 2 as well, but hopefully he'll be back soon for them. You hate to see it for him, but for Bennett, like I think he's kind of been made to look a little worse for wear here. I mean, I don't think there's really much there. Yeah.
And I do understand like the Bennett does have a reputation. I'm not like naive to the fact that he's got a reputation. He's done stuff that's resulted in other players' injuries before. And I do understand that that's like human nature. Like, of course, he's not going to always get the benefit of the doubt, but I think you have to look at the exact play. Like, you have to look at the play. You can't just go off reputation and off of like, oh, Stolar's got this injured, so this is what it's like. Dude, if you watch the clip, it really does not look like anything's there. And I think that was kind of my whole point yesterday. Was just like, look, you watch this. It's not a suspension worthy play. Maybe if you want to give him 2 minutes.
And the NHL thought the same way, right? He didn't receive any reprimand, so that kind of seals it right there. But there's still gonna be a lot of people complain about it. And like, yeah, for the reasons you said, because Bennett's been there, done it. That's kind of what he does in the playoffs. He's an agitator, right? That's why they have him. But again, that's certainly what caused the problems for Stolarz. So I'm not really sure why that's being used as a scapegoat there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either. It is kind of just maybe setting up for more drama in game 3 here. I'd assume it's going to be Woll. I guess I didn't look at it time, but there's no way
starting game 2.
Yeah, there's no way this guy's going to the hospital and then starting the next game. I think this one's just building up. I hope that we don't see more of like I just obviously I don't want injuries. Like I don't want injuries for anybody, because not only is like it bad just because obviously you don't want guys getting injured. You don't want guys like missing time, and there's more to life than hockey. But on top of that, I don't want the narrative of this amazing series that we're about to see just be about the physicality and like, oh, this guy should get suspended versus this guy and this guy. Like I want it to be about the play. But like the Panthers Lightning series wasn't all about the play on the ice. It was so much other shit, and I just don't want to see that again in this series.
That is kind of funny. That does seem to kind of follow the Panthers around a little bit there.
Yeah,
but look, that's the way they play it. It's been successful for them. That's playoff hockey, man. Like that's kind of the way she goes. They're a very old school hockey team. It's been panning out for them. So until you start losing like that, you're not going to change your game plan, right? That's kind of the point, is to wear these teams down. Toe that line, right? It's a strike, but you got to strike that balance. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see game 3 tonight, or game 3. Getting ahead of myself. Game 2 tonight. We are going to be streaming the games tonight. The streams have been so much fun as of late. So don't miss out on that one. I guess I don't know what more to say about this game. I'm trying to think if there's any big points that I feel like I really wanted to get off my chest.
Well, I think overall, I think it was the first game you want to see out of this series. I think both of us said going in like this could be the most entertaining round 2 series. I think that first game was awesome. So I think it's just going to keep ramping up from here, right? This is I think it's just fun to see this Leafs team. Like I want to see them take the fight. Like obviously I want the Panthers. You know that I'm not a Leafs guy, but you want to see the Leafs take the fight to them, and so far they have. Like that's the ideal first game, but outside of losing your goaltender, like that's the ideal first game for the Leafs, right? They've choked a lot of games before. The fact that they were able to finish it out, that's good for them. Like they're not going to make this easy. I mean, I think the Panthers got this, but it's not going to be as easy a 4 or 5 gamer as I may have expected. But I still think they got it. Yeah.
And another point, actually, the Leafs, I think they went 0 for 5 on the power play, if I'm not mistaken.
And they have 5 goals.
Yeah, 0 for 5. And they also mixed up what they went away from the 5 forwards on the peeper, and they put Morgan Riley back out there and took Matthew Nyes off that first unit for like I think the last 2 power plays, I want to say, which is interesting because like it might have just been a bad night for the Leafs power play. I don't know if the solution is going away from what's been working. We'll see if that continues tonight. Like if they get their first peeper and Riley's back out there. I think part of that is I think it's probably less about Matthew Nyes and more about them maybe just wanting to get Riley's confidence up and get him going a little bit. He scored the sweet goal in game 1, but did you kind of agree with that? Like probably more about trying to get Riley going than like it being actually about the peeper.
Yeah, or it could just be trying to even out the units a little bit. Maybe I'm not really sure. I mean, you only do that in the playoffs, though. Normally, you load up your first unit. That's kind of their strategy. So, that's probably more. I doubt the same thing Nyes is doing wrong. I mean, he's been one of their top producers, so I don't know why you move him off the power play. So it's probably more just get him reps. Yeah.
What a beast that kid is. I mean,
he's so good,
dude. That goal was disgusting.
Oh yeah, goal of the game for sure. Like I said it, like at the least he's going to be the X factor, right? If they do, go on a run here and pull off a couple upsets, it's going to run through him. Like he's going to be a big part of that. The core 4 can't do it alone, right? Because they're inconsistent. So And Nye is the type of guy who shows up in these big games. And that's kind of, I look at Matthew Nye as like, man, that's what the Hawks are missing right now, man. Is like that type of player. And I'm hopeful that maybe Porter Mortone can be that type of player. That's a big reason why I want that guy. So I'm not sure if he's like that type of dog that Nye is, but he has the facilities to eventually become a dog like that. Yeah.
If Matthew Nyes isn't a $10 million player, I mean, that guy should get a blank check from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like,
yeah, the only problem is all the fun money they're investing in the core four. It's like, I agree with you, he should be a $10 million player, but it's like, then you're paying what, 5 guys like that much? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
They're not, and I've seen on Twitter, like people saying like Blackhawks offer sheet the Leafs are not letting.
There's no way.
They'll let I feel like especially at this point, I feel like they'd let Marner go before they, did not match an offer for Matthew Nyes.
Isn't that crazy? Like Marner just had a 100-point season. I feel like Matthew Nyes is more important to that team's success, at least this time of year. Maybe not the regular season, but this time of year when it actually matters. Like, no, you want that type of guy in your lineup for sure. Yeah,
I agree. Any other thoughts on that one?
No, I think I said the Panthers would win it, and I was wrong, so I'll admit to being wrong there. But it's okay. I always said it'd be a gentleman's sweep, right? Florida will take the next 4. I don't know. Maybe the least extended to 6. But yeah, I don't think
they looked good. They looked good in the first 2, man.
I feel like for as much as the Leafs look good in this game, I feel like the Panthers look bad.
Yeah, that's
until the end, and I don't think that's going to continue from here. I think they've experienced round 1, they worked it out, and from game 2 onwards, they're going to look like the Panthers, and they're going to put the foot on the gas here. So I don't think you're going to see the same Florida team in game 2 onwards, and I think Toronto's going to have a hard time from that point on. Yeah, I think they got exactly where they want them, to be honest. I'm sure Leafs fans are really high right now after that round 1 win, take the 1-0 lead against Florida, and this is our year, and it's different this time. It's like, it's game 1. The Leafs are known to start off series well. Finishing has been the problem, whereas the Panthers, I think it's the opposite. They tend to get better as the series develops. I think that'll be the same here. Yeah.
Yeah, I predicted a Leafs win game 1 and then Panthers win the series, so I'm chill with how that one went, and I am happy with the glimmer that Florida showed in the third period, because it's like, hey, they can do this to these guys when they're playing their game.
That's the thing that scared me, is like the fact that Florida came on there. It's like at any point once they find their game, like it's kind of over. So I mean, it feels like they start to find their game late. There's a little too late, but at any point, once they get going, yeah, like they'll be fine. And also, how about Seth Jones, too, had another goal. I mean, he's been an impact player. I love when we put out that clip, and then Seth Jones produces there.
Literally 45 minutes later, he fucking nets one.
Yeah, I wonder where that was. But no, he's been good. He's fit in well with that Florida team, which, yeah, you were right. I mean, he's definitely, they saw it, too. It's like at the time of the trade, I think you can understand why they made that move. So, but yeah, better hope Bob stays healthy, though, because if he goes down, then you got issues.
Yep. And Florida getting Ekblad back tonight, so they're going to be back closer to full strength. And so we'll see what the Leafs can do with a more solid defensive core there. Okay, let's move along to last night, a game that I got wrong. I picked Capitals to win last night, but I picked, I said Capitals to win last night, game 1 at home. Like, they're going to have jump and do it. And then I picked the Canes to win the series. But, I mean, I don't want to overreact to a game 1, but these teams just might, like, not be close, Justin.
I mean, if you didn't watch the game and you just look at the score, you're like, oh, it's 2-1 Canes. It went to overtime. It was a super close game. This was anything but a close game. This should not have gone to overtime. I think the Canes outshot the Capitals like 33-14 or something. I don't know the exact amount, but it was around that length. They had more than double the chance, more than double the. And you look, every time I looked at the they showed the possession, it's like I think they like had double the amount of possession off the zone compared to the Capitals, which that's kind of the way the Canes play. Like they outpossess you, they outshoot you, they outchance you, they wear you down. Right? It's a heavy team, right? The style of play is it's a mismatch for the Capitals. I know they have a lot of skill, but you can see it going to the series. Like they're going to have a hard time. And I don't know why, when I made my bracket 2 weeks ago, that I picked the Capitals, but if I could change it, I would now. Mr. Hindsight Harold here. But yeah, I think just based off of that game 1, not to overreact. I mean, I still think it's going to be like a 6 game-ish. I don't know if it's going to be 4-5. I know the Canes dominated them this game 1, but I do think the Caps are better than that, right? I mean, I think Thompson kept them in it, but I do think they'll respond. They'll get a win here or there, but they're not going to win 4 against this team, just the way they play. Shout out Jacob Slavin as well, OT winner.
Dog.
I'm glad that guy's finally getting the recognition this year. We saw a lot of in the Four Nations, right? I was going to say he's the most underrated player, but I don't really think he is anymore. I think everybody's kind of starting to wake up to how good this guy is, so he's properly rated now. He's kind of past that underrated sphere. People are starting to recognize him, so nothing special there. Just a shot from the point and went in. You see that a lot of these overtimes in the playoffs, right? It's not always the sweetest goal, but nice there. Good to see him get that winner. And yeah, for this Canes team, it's good to take the series lead here and split on the road first 2 games. For the Caps, definitely makes game 2 a must win for sure. Yeah,
I agree with that. Dude, the craziest stat. So I know that the shots were 33-14. Did you see what the shot attempts were?
Oh, I can't remember the exact amount, but it was something crazy. The Caps blocked a ton of shots.
It's 94-34 were the shot attempts.
So the Canes had basically as much shots as the Caps had shot attempts.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Yes, they had 60 more shot attempts than the Capitals, and it's just like, dude, I just think the Canes are pretty much better everywhere except for the goaltending, because I mean, let's be honest, Logan Thompson did stand on his head in the game yesterday.
Yeah.
But dude, other than that, it's just like the Canes are so solid defensively. They're so deep. I mean, they really do just roll. Their top 3 lines are really good. They've got Jarvis playing on that 3rd line. And it's been awesome to see Taylor Hall, playing on the 2nd line with Stankoven.
He's fit in so well, man.
Dude,
Stankoven had a nasty goal last night. That was a beauty. So.
That was a sweet wrister. Yeah, and I mean, dude, that game could have been so much worse. The Canes hit the posts like 5 times, I think. Like, that game easily could have been a blowout. But I credit the Caps for surviving. They scored the early goal, the first goal of the game in the 2nd period from Protas. I'd imagine that guy's not going to be playing on the 4th line much longer. Like, I kind of feel like you have to move that guy up.
Yeah, what's he doing there? It's just because he missed some time. They're trying to assemble him back in, but that's Protas, man. Like, he's been so good for them. Like, that's going to be a guy that drives you. So, yeah, I would think he'll be back where he belongs there in the top 6. Or maybe they're just trying to spread the wealth a little bit. Who knows? But he's good, man. And that's a guy right there who's underrated. I mean, the season he had this past year, kind of out of nowhere, he's been a good piece for them. So they've had a lot of guys like that, a lot of contributions of guys, these depth guys, but he's no longer a depth guy, just playing their best hockey. And Carber's got the best out of these guys. So, but yeah, if they want any chance in this series, like, you need more contributions of guys like that. And you're going to need Strome and Ovi to definitely carry a bit for sure.
And Carberry does like to hit the blender a little bit throughout these games and send out different combinations of players. And I just feel like he hasn't been playing Leonard a ton for obvious reasons. He's
really done anything.
You can't expect
he's a
that.
rookie.
I mean,
I know.
He's a young kid who came in right before the playoffs. I'm not expecting him to be a game breaker this early in his career, but I just think you move that kid down to the 4th line. You put Protas there on the 3rd line with Eller and Mangiapane. And then maybe you work him in a top 6 as the series goes on. But yeah, I just don't think that the Caps can afford to have a guy like that playing 4th line minutes.
Yeah, especially the way he looked. He's one of their better players. So yeah, I give him as much ice time as you can. The Belarusian legend. I wonder if he's good friends with Artie, but he'll be coming for that scoring title there. Yeah. Do
you think that is the key for the Capitals winning games? Is it just going to have to be Logan Thompson stealing these? It didn't feel like they could.
It's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. They're going to need more, right? I mean, Thompson's a great goalie, but he's not going to win the games by himself, right? Big reason why it's such a successful season is the team around him too. So, you're not going to, especially the Canes, they love these types of games that are low scoring, like that totally favors them. So I think for the Caps, you're going to need more contributions. So you're not going to win it playing the Canes style play. They're going to beat you every time. So you got to kind of get them out of their element a little bit. And unlike the Devils, they definitely have more guys who could do so, could break these games open. So that's the one thing I hold on to, where it's like it could still go back in their favor. But after that game 1, though, they definitely need to look at the tape and make a lot of adjustments, because at this rate, it could be a quicker series than we expect for sure. Yeah.
Shout out to Thomas in chat for the super chat. We love you, buddy. We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
Dude, the Capitals just could not generate offense. They could not generate enough offense that they need to win. And it just feels like this team to me is it kind of just like everybody goes over the boards and then you just wait for Dylan Strome to go out there and create something. Like I genuinely feels like after the first round and into yesterday, like it feels like all of their offense is going to come through Dylan Strome.
And I said this before, where it's like, I love Dylan Strome. He's awesome. Blackhawks legend. If that's your best player and if that's who we're relying on to win you games, you're not going to go to the Stanley Cup. Like, I'm sorry, maybe it'll work against the a team like the Canadiens that shouldn't even be there, but against a team like the Canes, like a real playoff team, yeah, you're going to get exposed. So again, I viewed this Capitals team the same way as the Jets. Great regular season, fantastic job, well done, but just a team that I just don't think is built for the playoffs. We saw against the Canadiens, but they're a team that wasn't going to expose them. The Canes are a team that's been there, done that, many times. So I'm not really shocked by it. Yeah.
Before we move on, if you were to update your picks, who you got and in how many games?
I would say the Canes in 6. I still think the Caps will make it interesting. I'm not going to overreact and say after that first game that they're going to get swept or 5 games. It could very well happen, but they're too good a team. Like they're going to win a game or two.
Yes.
They're going to make it hard on them, right? You're not going to have these 1-goal games. Like Ovi's going to do something. Stromer's been fantastic, right? You're going to get those contributions. So, yeah, I still think it'll be a close-ish series, but I think the Canes. If I could pick it, I definitely reverse it. I think I had Caps in 7 or something, so I would say Canes in 6 or 7. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Caps. I mean, a lot to work on and figure out here going forward if you're going to have any chance in this one. The offense has got to be better. They were fine. I keep saying like they were fine defensively. It's just because none of those posts went in. Like if those goals go in, and we're talking about a 4-1.
This could have easily been like a 5-1, 4-1 type of game, like you said, right? They got extremely lucky. I love to know what the deserve to win meter looked like after that game. But I think the one thing for the Caps though is like, Freddie Anderson's been good in these playoffs. Don't get me wrong, but that's still a guy I look at where it's like if there's one question mark with that Canes team, it's like if you could find a way to pot a couple home against him and maybe get him out of his element a little bit, shake his confidence, right? That's one area they could try to expose, but you have to get chances, you have to get opportunities. If you're putting 14 shots, that's not going to happen. So that's the thing. The Canes have kind of shut them down, right? Anderson doesn't really have to do much. So the Caps got to find a way to get those rush chances going and kind of get the Canes out of their game plan there, right? Because if you're playing the structure, you're not going to find a way. Yeah.
And what's really crazy about that game is the Capitals really could have won that. Ryan Leonard had that opportunity with like 4 or 5 minutes left. He got on a breakaway and he just couldn't get anything on the backhand. Like he could have iced the game there. That would have been the definition of a stolen game in my mind. Like just getting absolutely outworked and outchanced like that. That could have been a series changer if Leonard's able to score that, but he wasn't, and Slavin gets the winner in overtime. So ends up 1-0.
That's the thing too, where it's like game 2 definitely feels like a must win because this Canes team, like if there's been a struggle from the playoffs, that they haven't always looked like the same team on the road versus at home. At home, they're like an absolute beast. So it's like, man, if you go down 0-2 for the Caps and go back to Carolina, then this could be a quicker series than we expect. So. The fact that they had home ice to start, I thought could be something that could be an advantage for them, but so far it has been the case. So hopefully for them, they wake up and make this interesting because I think round 2, you want to see interesting series. You don't want to see those fast ones. So, hopefully they make it interesting. Yeah.
I agree. Maybe a must win for the Capitals in game 2.
For sure. And they need guys like that. You mentioned the Ryan Leonards, right? I know he's a rookie, but it's like, dude, this guy was a Hobey Baker finalist, man. Like, look at what he did at the World Juniors team. Like, has he even done anything in these playoffs? Like, that's a guy, like, you need those types of guys to produce at some point, for sure, if you want a chance against a team like this. Yeah.
Agreed. Let's move on. Before we hit a break, let's move on and talk about the late game, the Oilers Golden Knights game. I predicted Vegas to win this one. I thought the series is going to go 7 games, but I did predict the Golden Knights to win game 1. They started hot. They got the 2 goals from Mark Stone, and then the Oilers flipped the script from there yet again, didn't they?
Dude, another crazy stat day. The Oilers, I think, the first team to pull off 5 consecutive comeback wins in the playoffs. Saw a stat like that.
Gosh,
absolutely unreal how they just keep pulling off these bullshit comebacks. Like, where did that come from too? Like, well, I think it was as much like Vegas, like, seemed to take their foot off the gas. If they got up that early 2-0 lead. The most dangerous lead in hockey came back to bite them yet again. How many multi-goal leads have we seen blown in these playoffs the last few days? I swear, it feels like every other game that happens.
Feels like nothing safe.
Yeah, it felt like Vegas was in control. I thought they were a more reliable team than Kings, where they could be able to choke a game like that. Nope. I mean, from then on, I think they had one shot in the second period, and the Oilers just took complete control. 3 goals and 6 shots in the third there, and Corey Perry had a goal too. I think that was the first one to get back in, and yeah, they just kind of took over from there. How they keep pulling this off? It's so funny. It's amusing. We knew this would be entertaining hockey, and it'll be a fun series for sure. But now all of a sudden for Vegas, it's game 2 once again. You can't go down 0-2 and then go back to Edmonton. So you gotta win that game. That's a must win. So, but for the Oilers too, I think it's good for them to start off with the series lead. They're playing from behind it, but so now you put some pressure on Vegas. Can take the series lead. I think they need that a little bit. You can't always be playing from behind. So no, good for them. They're rolling right now. 5 straight wins, man. They're on a roll. Momentum's on their side, and suddenly they're kind of looking like last year's team. So yeah, never bet against McJesus and co. And we'll see how far they could take this. I can't remember. I think in my bracket I had Vegas winning in 7, but I'm pretty sure I changed it on the Monday when we previewed it. I think I said it'd be Edmonton. I could be wrong about that. I can't remember for sure, but that's who I said it would be. To be honest with you, this is a series I think we both said would be hard to predict, right? And I think for this game 1, it was for all the reasons we mentioned, right? It kind of felt like an Oilers-Kings game. So pretty much any Oilers game is must-watch hockey. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Are they the most exciting team to watch?
Yes, just because they just seem to beat every playoff stereotype, right? The rules don't apply to the Edmonton Oilers, so it's chaos. It's chaos when you put on Oilers hockey. They're never out of a game too. That's the thing. They could be down 2, 3 goals, 4 goals. It doesn't matter. They're never out of a game. So that being said, even when they're winning too, it's they never have a game secured either, right? They could easily choke it away too. So they're just such an unreliable, chaotic, fun team of just a couple stars and merchants, and somehow it pans out every year. Calvin Pickard too is surviving at the moment, so we'll see how long they're able to ride him if they have to go back to Skinner. But yeah.
Something that I want to ask you is how many times can this happen before we stop referring to them as unreliable? Maybe we can rely on them to do this.
That's just their game plan. Their game plan is being unreliable.
Hey, we're gonna get scored on. We're gonna be down in games, but Leon and Connor are gonna have 2 points every single night, and so no lead is safe against us. Maybe that's why the Oilers are reliable, because they'll consistently come back in games. I also think that Corey Perry might have a career postseason high this season if he plays the entire rest of the playoffs on the line with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid.
He's just leeching off of those guys, man. He's like the new Zach Hyman there. Just parks himself around the net, and they find him. They feed him for these easy tap-ins. So credit to him. I mean, we'll see if he can make it. If they get back to the final and make it 5 finals losses, I think that'd be pretty spectacular. I'd love to see it. But no, I mean, Corey Perry, yeah, I mean, he's still kicking. He's been a good fit that team. So yeah, Blackhawks legend. Another guy. I thought it feels like a fever dream his time in Chicago, but he's been a good fit there. I mean, that's the type of guy you want in the playoffs, right? He's gonna piss you off. He's gonna annoy the opposition, right? So exactly what they need. So, but yeah, it feels like every time I check in, he's getting something on that line. So, but that's what happens when you play for David Draisaitl. So yeah.
And you mentioned Zach Hyman there, obviously not playing on that line, but he absolutely ripped the game winner with 3 minutes left. High glove. Both of the final goals come in high glove. Maybe something that they're looking at there and thinking, hey, Hill's not super solid in this spot.
Yeah, not the king of the hill when it comes to the high glove. But yeah, Shaq Hyman, he's looking more like his last year's self, right? It was a little bit quieter year, but in the playoffs, he's kind of resurrected here. And they need him. They need guys like that, right? It can't just come through McDavid Draisaitl. So you get guys like that producing, the Perrys and the Nugent Hopkins. They got a shot here. They do have some decent depth.
And Connor Brown, I mean, coming in and scoring a big goal, a big goal, the insurance goal with a minute and 45 seconds left, whatever it was. I mean, this guy just comes alive. He's got 4 goals and 2 assists in 7 games so far this postseason. That is the depth scoring the Oilers need. And it's I know how bad they are at defense, but maybe they're just good enough offensively to outscore all their defensive woes, which is such a crazy thing to say in the playoffs.
It's the opposite of what you normally would think. Yeah.
But it's dude, Justin, we're watching this Oilers team where you're getting all the production from Leon and Connor. They're showing up every single night. Those two are showing up and producing. And then you're also getting the depth scoring, and they're somehow somehow, and we've seen this in the past with the Oilers, when you put Leon and Connor on the same line, that usually means bad things for the rest of the roster. The rest of the lineup usually struggles to convert and score.
Yeah.
But
Not now.
Knobloch has been playing all these guys, and you're getting the depth scoring. So it's like, geez, I'm so glad I didn't really make a super solid prediction on this series, because the Oilers might just be able to outscore all their problems. Also, something worth pointing out, I think, Justin, Pietrangelo missing game 1. I'd assume
That's
he's going to be
loss.
back for game 2.
He'll be back, right? They definitely missed him in that decor there, so that's going to be another force to go through for Edmonton for sure. So he's been part of that blue line. So, but yeah, I mean, the Oilers are run like an NBA team, man. It's like they have a couple star guys who get most of the production. It kind of trickles down a little bit, right? So, just the complete antithesis of what that's kind of the game now. It's changing a little bit, right? You see it more often. Where most of the time it's defense that wins championships, but offense can win championships. And I mean, Edmonton hasn't done so yet, but it does feel inevitable with this team at some point. But we'll see how long they can take it, right? I do think Vegas is a stronger team than LA, and it's going to be harder. I think it's going to be even closer series than that. Like this game 1 win doesn't really change that for me. I still think Vegas is a good enough team where this could easily come back the other way, right? I don't think it was a perfect game for them. They had a good start. It kind of got away from them, but I don't know if it's going to happen 3 more times, right? I think this is a 7-game series for sure.
I would assume the Golden Knights learned their lesson early in this one. Like, if you get a lead, no lead is safe against this team. No. You have to stay aggressive the entire game. You can't be on.
You can't sit back,
sitting on the blue line waiting for 97 to come attack you. It's not going to work. It's just not. And so I think maybe they've learned their lesson and now know, hey, we gotta play an aggressive 60 minutes here. And I also think Hill needs to be better, right?
Yeah, a couple softies there.
First goal wasn't really on him, but then that the second goal, the Draisaitl goal, where he just missed the pop fly, and then Draisaitl
he can't afford that against this team.
Off of him, and then the last two just both go in high glove. You want your goalie to come up with at least one of those.
For sure. You can't afford those soft against Edmonton, right? So, and Vegas has the facilities. They have the star power. They have the talent, right, to hang with Edmonton, you would think. They beat them before. So, but yeah, the other stuff that come in the series with revenge factor in their mind, right? I think what David said himself, like, we owe them a series. So, when you get that guy mad in form, it's, good luck. But yeah, I still think this can go either way. Yeah.
I agree. The Oilers trying to prove that offense does win championships. Excited for game 2, excited for the rest of that series. Let's hit a quick break here because we've got to tee up the next couple of days of games, and then we've also got a Mount Rushmore for you guys yet again. So all that and more after the break. Keep it here. We'll see you in a sec. Welcome back, Chicago Hockey Radio. We've got a Mount Rushmore, another one. DJ Khaled voice, another one. And I can tell that funny business is being had right now because...
Oh, yeah. I can confirm, too.
Justin, I mean, not only just talking about the jerseys being, a little suspect. I may or may not have had a Blackhawks draft pick in here who is randomly not wearing a Blackhawks jersey despite...
I've been there before.
But also, not only just that, as I stepped back into the studio room a minute ago to announce that I did not lose this one, that I was in third place, seemingly weird enough, the other team that was on the bottom with me has moved forward. And so I think we're seeing a lot of burners being used and stuff, some funny business like that by guys in the office. So that's interesting. But without further ado, feast your eyes. This is Chicago Hockey Radio's Mount Rushmore of bust draft picks.
All right, everybody. Welcome back. It is the Mount Rushmore. This is going to be a fun one. Wait for it. Bust NHL draft picks. And with the first overall selection in the CHR Mount Rushmore of bust NHL draft picks, we have Raven and Tim.
See if the computer comes up with here.
This is a good one. This might be the one I'm looking forward to the most.
I think we're going to go with our 1-1 pick. We're going to go Cam Barker.
That's
what?
That's
diabolical 1-1.
He actually had an okay career.
Didn't he win a Stanley Cup or no?
No, he was traded right before, but it's like he wasn't as good as, where his draft.
21 goals in 310 games.
That's crazy, dude.
He's an offense, man.
That's a crazy 1-1 pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably be in here, but not at 1.
Whoever, we all know whoever's, never mind.
Well, there's 3 guys for me in this one
that are very clear. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the obvious one, the Gen Z answer, which is Nail Yakupov.
Yeah.
But that's not who I would have taken.
There's one guy I'm really thinking of here.
There's 2 here.
Like two. Yeah,
there's 2 big ones that are.
Let's see which one Lee picks.
Let's see if Lee can get it.
There's one I really want for other reasons.
I'll go DiPietro.
Oh, okay.
Rick DiPietro?
Yeah.
It actually wasn't.
Yeah.
Not one of the guys I was thinking.
I'll take
him. I think I'm going to take both of the guys you're probably thinking of. One of them is connected to Patrick Kane. Patrick Steffen. If he buries that empty net, one of the most famous flubs of all time. If he buries an empty net, the Oilers draft Patrick Kane. Give me Patrick Steffen.
The craziest
sequence.
flub. Yeah, it is the craziest.
They go the other way.
History.
They do win in overtime, but they get the extra point, and that could entirely change. The 2007 draft. Hawks have the 5th odds. They would not have gotten Patrick Kane if not for that. So I love you, Patrick Steffen. Thank you.
I don't know if you guys have seen or heard that goal call recently. I think I've played it for Raven once.
Patrick Steffen, you should be embarrassed for what you just did.
That's
Ray Ferraro in the National Hockey League.
That's Ray Ferraro who says all that.
Yep.
So
exactly.
Yeah, just that is one of the most laying into a guy on live television that I've ever seen from a color guy. So especially in hockey.
Puck does kind of balance him a little bit. Like he was a little unlucky, but it's like you had time to put it in. You waited until the last moment.
Then he falls.
And then he falls, and they go. It's fair, and for his career, it sums it up. All right, the other guy that you're probably thinking of is Mr. Ottawa Senator. Give me Alexandre Dig. I think that's how you say his name.
Yep.
Yeah.
ESPN did a documentary about him. I watched this year. I think maybe it was the end of last year. And it was pretty good. It was good.
The famous quote he said, I'm glad I was picked number 1 because nobody remembers number 2. Meanwhile, Chris Pronger went number 2 in that draft. He's like, I really ate the shit sandwich on that one. That's a good one.
Is it my turn again?
It is.
This might be like a hot take, but it's more so just that he went first overall, and the 5 guys after him were all superstars. I'm gonna take Eric Johnson here.
I knew that's who you're thinking of.
And he was it's not like he had an awful
he's
still playing,
Yeah.
But
1 cups.
But yeah, all the guys after him in that draft. Go down the list.
Yeah, Taze, Marchand, Backstrom, Kessel, yada yada.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Even Jordan Stahl even.
Man, there's some guys. There are some guys. There's a lot of I don't want to play my hand here too much. But there's like a lot of like brothers and sons of guys that are bust. There's a lot of like Russian players, you know, situations where teams went all in on a Russian guy very early and it didn't work out. But I'm going to go with one of the guys that is at a lot of people's 1-1 for a list like this normally. It's Brian Lawton. He was picked by the Minnesota North Stars first overall.
That's a good true one.
Played just 5 seasons with Minnesota, ended his career. He had 266 points in 483 games. So not bad, but not what you get out of that. And he was drafted out of Rhode Island High School in 1983. So, but Yzerman went 4th at draft, and, you know, Pat LaFontaine went 3rd, and Cam Neely went 9. So, yeah, I don't know. Brian Lawton, that is my pick.
All right. Kind of a similar situation to Johnson there. It wasn't necessarily a bad career, but
Nikita Filatov.
Yep.
yeah.
That's what I was talking about earlier with like
The
the
Russian
Russians
guy,
that
yeah.
are like,
Yeah.
And then
See that a few times. Yeah.
for our 3rd round pick, we are going to be taking Scott Glennie.
Yep.
yep. Okay, this one's a little tricky. Well, you know what? No, screw it. You may know him from the cast of Shoresy, but I'm going to go with Terry Ryan. I'm going to go with Terry Ryan.
Nice.
We still have to tell the story about how we almost hung out with them, Tassos.
Oh, yeah. That's CHR plus
That
content.
is some lore that is waiting to be dropped.
Nice.
But yeah, give me Shoresy star Terry Ryan, who actually seems like a really nice guy and somebody I'd love to get on the show one day. So I hope this doesn't ruin that.
Yeah.
Why would it?
Yeah, I don't.
You mean you included me in an all-time bust list? Yeah, I take that personally. But some people probably don't care. They're probably used to it. Yeah.
All right, Lee, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with Scott Sissons.
Okay.
Played 2 games in the NHL. Drafted before, again, a situation like drafted before Keith Kachuk, a couple other guys.
Yikes.
Scott Sissons.
All right. I will take Pavel Brendil.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, he had a lot of hype around him, a lot of skill, but just didn't really translate the NHL level. Yeah, remember. All right, I think I have one more pick. I'm in between a couple of guys here. I believe they're both Islanders draft picks, I think. Which one do I go for? I'll go for Griffin Reinhardt. Yeah.
Oh,
you,
that's
Justin.
a good one.
That was
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna say another guy I was thinking of Islanders draft pick, pretty recent, but yeah, I just remember like he was up there, and he hardly even played in the NHL, like a couple of games, and that was it. Yeah.
All right, Lee.
We can do active player, right? Because we already have like active players on this.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Adam Boquist for the Chicago
Oh.
Blackhawks. Just like right after Quinn Hughes, there was a laundry list of names that you would have rather them
Bucks
draft.
really wanted him to. They really
Yeah.
wanted Quinn Hughes. Canucks screwed us over, so I think it'd be very fitting if Hughes left pretty soon there.
Adam Boquist.
Yeah, I thought about some Hawks guys, but I'm like, nah.
It's a pander pick a little
I
bit.
can't do it. Yeah, no.
So I mean, I could get nuts here. I could get nuts here.
What are you gonna pick Connor Bedard right now or something?
I would literally like jump into my screen right now and reach across. And
Oh my gosh.
there was a Hawks guy I was thinking of though. He's no longer with the Hawks though. But, yeah.
This is gonna be crazy. Give me Alexei Lafreniere.
That's a
Ooh.
terrible. Oh my
Interesting.
god.
Wow.
I would
Bust.
take Slavkovsky over fucking Lafreniere.
You know who
No,
I was
I
thinking
would
of?
rather have Slavkovsky on
That's
my team.
crazy.
I would
I
rather
was
have
thinking of
Slavkovsky
Kirby.
on my team 10 times out of 10.
Crazy take.
I don't think so at all, dude.
I do.
I was thinking of Doc, honestly, but it's a little early and he's had injuries.
Oh, well,
and,
don't give away picks yet.
Yeah, true. There's still one more. Well, maybe they'll take it now.
And then our last pick will be Hugh Jesseman.
Okay.
You Jesse, man.
High pick and hardly played. Yeah.
Hugh
Wow.
Jesse, man.
Hmm.
Give me a second before we wrap this one up.
Yeah, I don't know if there's really a clear. This could be a
Yeah,
tough one. Like,
I don't
it's gonna
feel
be
good
very
about
close.
mine. I don't feel good.
Like, there's
about
not a clear best one. There's not a clear worst one. It's very subjective. You have Boquist, so that might do it alone, honestly.
mine.
Yeah. I don't really have any pander picks, but I'm hoping he'll reach the king crowd to Stefan. Yeah.
Okay. Alexi Lafreniere
Wow.
had 17 goals, 28 assists for 45 points, was minus 13 in 82 games this season.
What about his stats last year?
Doesn't matter.
50 points.
Literally doesn't matter.
Okay.
Juraj Slavkovsky in 3 fewer games this season, 18 goals, so 1 more goal, 33 assists, so 5 more assists for 51 points, which is 6 more points, and a +4 rating and 45 penalty minutes on a Montreal Canadiens team that made the playoffs. So
It's not that much better.
And yeah, like it's marginally better, and you're gonna
He's
say that
2 years
like
younger. He's 2
Lafreniere
years
didn't
younger.
go to the Eastern Conference Final playing
Was one of their better
playing
players in that
top line
run.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
He can easily figure it out too. Still,
Yeah.
that's an early one.
this is somebody that
The Rangers.
The Rangers will rue the day that they signed him to that ticket. And
I think it's the Rangers'
I would have
fault, not
gone
him.
Capo before I went with Lafreniere.
I thought about it, but Capo
Yeah.
Caco honestly
He's gonna
looked
look better in
better at the
Seattle.
end of the
Yeah.
season in Seattle than Lafreniere did at any point this season with the Rangers. So
Crazy work.
yeah,
Wow, that's nuts.
so better stats for a 2 years younger Juraj Slavkovsky, who
All
did
right.
not have the hockey training that Alexi Lafreniere did.
We will
And
see what the people think, I guess, about that.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one.
I like that pick. It's a little bit out there, but
You have Yakupov though, so that might be enough.
I want to say this one just because it is put on the ChatGPT, but it does say Tuvo Teravainen is a bust.
What?
According
What?
to
That's
ChatGPT.
crazy.
That's
bad,
nonsense.
yeah.
That's crazy.
He's been
Like-
solid his entire career.
no, I mean if we're doing like
He's been a
it-
top
like
six guy.
ChatGPT doesn't know puck.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's insane.
if
Yeah,
we're
no.
doing honorable mentions, there's like the Russian guys, more of those guys. There's Vitov, who went number 3 to Tampa in 2001. There was Chistov, who went 5 to Anaheim in 2001 as well. You guys drafted Filatov, right? That was a big whiff. Gilbert Brule was also another swing and a miss by the Blue Jackets too. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Alex Picard was one by the Blue Jackets. They've had a lot of swings and misses at the draft table. The CBJ.
I still think it's crazy that ChatGPT has Teuvo Teravainen in it.
Like
I mean,
that, what? Where did they
dude
get that
literally
from?
puts up 60 points every single year while being a super reliable defensive forward.
they
Like,
And he was like a mid-round pick. He wasn't even like a
Yeah,
top
yeah,
pick.
it's
He
not
was
like
like
he was
what,
top
12 or
five.
something?
They said it was
Yeah.
because of botched asset management. Is why they're as a.
Botched asset management.
But it's like
What?
that's
That's
not
chat-
his fault.
This is just proving Justin's ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's why I've been joking about it. But it's like, yeah, see for yourself.
And if we're talking about guys that are like brothers or sons of former players too being busts, Brett Lindros, the younger brother of Eric Lindros, 9th overall pick by the Islanders in '94, retired at the age of 20 due to serious concussions and played in just 51 games. There was Ryan Sittler, who I think is the son of Daryl, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably a good
and,
bet.
Yeah, was a very high pick that didn't work out also. So
Frank Gretzky. I don't know how high pick he was, but yeah.
Thomas Hickey is another more recent one too. I don't know.
I was thinking of Michael Dow Cole. That was the other Islanders guy I was thinking of. He was like a number 5, and he hardly played the show. Yeah, I was between him and Reinhardt. Yeah,
Griffin Reinhardt was a good pick.
yeah. Thought it was a better one. Yeah.
all right.
Wrap it up.
Yep. We'll send it back. All right, Justin, what'd you make of that one?
Yeah, very interesting tactics from some of the teams out here, which there's been a lot of talk around me, being, snazzy in these games. But if anything, I think I've been the second, probably least sus person here. There's been a lot of burner accounts being used, I've been noticing in these votings.
Yeah,
And
it's interesting.
Yeah, but I only use like one or a couple. Like, I use the Beehawks page, my personal one burner, and that's all I'm allowed. I look at some of these voting things, and I assume it's a ChatGPT team. There's a lot of manipulations going on out here.
Why are you slandering us?
What you
No, maybe
saying,
it's
fuck me
Tassos.
for?
I don't know. It's one of you two, because I know it's not Lee. He's not-
Raven, it was a curious thing that the last thing I said to you was I didn't come in last, ha ha, then walked in here, and then all of a sudden I was last.
I don't
Miraculously.
change my votes, man. I vote for me and then go on with my life.
All right.
It did kind of seem to change out of nowhere. And I also threw a comment in there. I said something about Patrick Steffen, like, the Hawks don't get, Kane if not for Patrick Steffen's empty netter miss. And that comment got deleted because Tassos was like, oh, he's trying to give away his picks. Like, dude, I didn't say he was on my team. I was just counting a fact about a person in the post.
But I see that from Tassos's perspective, though. It's like, oh, you're just going to be randomly talking about a player on another person's Mount Rushmore.
I guess. I don't know. That's like, what do you want us to say? If we're not allowed to say anything about what's going on, then I guess we just can't comment anything. But anyway. But he ended up winning, and I ended up finished second, so there you go.
Also, I want to, before we talk about the games tonight, I do want to say something really funny in chat. Somebody said the Islanders should take Misa. He's NHL ready and he'll be at the franchise for 25 years. And Thomas replied, 25 is bro Gordie Howe.
25 years. How long do you think these guys play?
That shit had me dying there at the end of that Mount Rushmore. So
what is this franchise mode where it's like, 25 years like the max or something he could do? Maybe that's what he was thinking of. But also, how the hell did Tassos win this? He had Alexi Lafreniere on his bus.
Crazy.
And he won. The
I
Tassos glaze from you guys in chat, it's getting unbearable. I have Patrick Steffen and Daig, and I think it's just because he had Neil Yakupov.
It's only because he had Neil Yakupov. Yeah, that's the most notable guy. So everyone's going to pick that. So I understand
that's unreal.
It's like picking the Blackhawks for like best jersey. Like I understand going with Neil Yakupov. That's kind of the one that everyone knows. But I do think Lafreniere as a draft bust is nasty work. I mean, the kid almost had 30 goals last year, and he wants to talk about Slivkovsky. That I don't know about that, but
it makes me too wish I put Kirby Doc in there. I didn't put Doc in there because I know so far his career's been underwhelming, but it's like he's 24, 25. Like these guys still have time. So I would think of a guy like that as a 2019 draft pick. Lafreniere's 2020. I didn't really think of guys like that, right? I thought of guys whose careers are over, where it's like we could sort of say, oh yeah, they're definitely a bust, right? But Doc would have gotten a lot of Panther votes though, so I kind of wish but anyway, missed opportunity there.
And
but
I went
second place.
And I went with Adam Boquist because I mean the guy has just been shipped around everywhere.
Yeah, that's a little different.
He's been given a chance at a million different teams, and it's not working. Like we were hoping he was going to be that like super electric puck moving D-man. But and I was super hyped for him. Like when we drafted him, and I was watching all of like the every shifts back then of like Brian Campbell was going to his junior team to like staying with him to try to push him along. And I was like, let's go. Soupy's gonna turn this kid into an absolute monster. And it just didn't work out. So that's my defense for picking Adam Boquist there.
Yeah, and Boquist, like Doc's at least shown flashes. Like Boquist hasn't really. I mean, I guess he's shown a little bit here and there, but he just can't defend. Like he has some offensive ability, but he just can't defend to save his life. He's not really a defenseman. He's a defenseman who isn't a defenseman, right? And he gets injured all the time, right? Like you said, he's always bouncing around. So I know a lot of Hawks fans were like really upset about though we trade him. Like it was more of the Seth Jones contract, but he was a part of that trade, and nothing really panned out from the Jacket side of that trade. It must be said. Outside of like Cole Sillinger, like nothing really, because Jurasek's gone now too. So that trade actually didn't turn out to be too bad for us outside the contract. Now that's gone, obviously. So. But it sucks for a guy like that for sure. I remember a lot of hope around him, but like I said in the Mount Rushmore though, it's like, man, we were one pick away.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, me losing to a team that picks Cam Barker 1-1 is nasty work. Do better.
Yeah,
do better.
You had the you had the DPHO Boquist team. Yeah, looking at these, I would say. Yeah, I don't think yours is the worst here. I would probably take yours over that one, but that's another one where people just gonna see Cam Barker and just pick it because it
definitely, Justin. This is not one that I'm like oh my gosh, my picks were so like I knew I was not gonna do very well in this one. I didn't think I would come in last place. I do think that there was funny business that was had to keep me from hitting that third place. But whatever, we move on. These have been really fun. I
Yeah.
think I hope you guys have been getting into him a little bit. I am coming back. That hurts. Coming in fourth there really hurts me. But I was down by like double digits. I was behind everybody in double digits. So starting to claw my way back there. Obviously, I'm not
Lee,
gonna win this whole thing, Justin. I know you're 11 ahead of me still. If that's what you're about
well,
to say.
I think no. I was gonna say I think you gotta appeal this result because I'm pretty sure I checked this before the show, and I'm pretty sure you were still in third.
I know,
And
I
then
was.
we go to break. So yeah, I think you gotta appeal this result, man. Like if there, in my opinion, you finished third. I'm actually vouching for you here. Yeah.
But you got to realize the board of directors that I'm appealing to is one person, and that is Tassos Kirkos.
You're not gonna get that
And
vote. You're
something
screwed.
tells me he's not gonna give me the edge here. So I don't know if I'm gonna be appealing that one. To be honest with you, I don't know if it's worth the effort. But I just wanted to make my displeasure known to the chat. That is all.
I love how I did the same thing of me too, where it's like, oh, Barker's wearing the Hawks jersey, but Boquist isn't in the Hawks jersey. Like it's been the same thing of me whenever I pick a Hawks guy. That's probably why I didn't pick Doc. He probably would have been a Habs jersey.
CHR corruption. Yeah, we're corrupt. There's tinfoil hat time. There's corruption going on over here. That's all.
I'm in first place despite the corruption. They can't beat me.
No, they can't. They can't keep Justin down. So. Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about the slate tonight. We got a couple of good ones. And yes, we are streaming these. Pull up. These streams have been so fun. I've been loving doing, like, honestly, I know it's a lot of work. We've been doing it a ton, but I have just thoroughly been enjoying it. And and it really is all because of you guys coming in. Like last night was crazy, Justin. Like
That was so entertaining.
dude, I had to watch the highlights from both games again just to like remember, because chat was so active last night. I think they were having a lot of fun, and so it just makes it so enjoyable. So be there for that tonight. We're gonna have fun again. Hopefully, farm some more subscribers, which you guys always help out with.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into it. The first
most entertaining thing. Sorry to butt in there, but
No,
just
go ahead.
something I had to comment on. The most entertaining part of these streams, I feel like there's always one like little bit of
Oh, you just kind of
half the stream.
say that again.
I think the most entertaining thing for these streams is I feel like there's always one argument or one debate that
Yeah.
takes up like half the stream.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like the Sunday one, it was the Hellebuck is he a fraud thing, or is his fault for the Jets, and then yesterday's was all about the Stolarz Bennett, the dialogue there. I thought that was pretty entertaining. So, but yeah, like these, they've been super entertaining. I've been trying to, in the chat to be active. I'm looking forward to actually being there full time. So them should be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that for sure.
The
Yeah.
arguments are very enjoyable. Tassos and I got heated at each other last night.
Coffee and research.
Chat was going crazy. It was fun. And then I don't know, it ended, and like as it was ending, I don't know, Tassos and I just got so slap happy, and we were just like I think we were just exhausted, honestly, but everything was just making us die laughing. So really enjoyable last night. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep the ball rolling on these streams.
Tassos is like the real life epitome of that actually emoji with the you should sit down and read and have some coffee and do some research before you come on here and those talking points.
It was a fun time yesterday. So make sure all of you do not miss it tonight. And so without further ado, we are going to be talking about Tassos's favorite team here, the Toronto Maple Leafs, looking to pull off a commanding 2-0 lead in this series against the Florida Panthers. Justin, do you see that happening tonight?
So even you say that commanding 2-0 lead against the Florida Panthers, I don't even think that would be a commanding 2-0 lead. But like, yes, I think the Leafs have to. Yeah, I mean, I struggle with that, but yeah, I do feel like they have to win this game. Like, and I'm not just gonna say Game 1 was a must-win. I feel like you gotta take both of these first two at home, right? You gotta play with a lead here against Florida, right? If they tie the series up going back to Sunrise, and they have home ice the rest of the series, yeah, good luck with that. Like, you're cooked. So I think for the Leafs, yeah, play the way you did Game 1, but don't let off, and you have a chance here, right? I mean, it's gonna be tough. Wool draws. I know he's been good. I know Wool's had a good season, but he, like you said, he was a bit shaky in that Game 1, but he also was expecting the draw in. Now he knows this is coming, right? He's had those little bit of reps, and he should be. I imagine he'll be better tonight than he was in that Game 1. So, but yeah, I would say you probably prefer Stolarz in anyway. But yeah, that's something the Panthers can take advantage of. Need a bit more from Bob. Like I don't really put that on him Monday, but I would say he could definitely be a little bit better. I would say. I think in this series you're gonna need him to be on his his last year form, right? He's had a few moments in these playoffs, I would say, where he hasn't quite looked the bod that we know. But I'm sure he'll bounce back. And I think for Florida, you don't need to split, but I do think that would help, right? You'd rather not be playing down, 2-0 to this Leafs team, and maybe that gives them confidence, right? Maybe that gives them that momentum, and maybe that puts a pressure on Florida a little bit, right? I don't really think it would. I think no matter where they are in the series, Florida's type of team that until the series is over, I don't really count them out of it, But yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. Like, you want to be at least within a game or tied. So I think for Florida, poor game. I think for Toronto, poor game. So yeah, I think I foresee a Florida win. I think the way they ended that game 3, I think they're going to start off this game the exact same way. They're a little sleepy to start game 1. Took a little bit of time to get into it. I don't foresee that being an issue tonight. Like, I think they know what they're getting themselves into now. They know what they have to do, and I think they have this one covered. So I think Florida takes this. But it'll be close. I don't think there's going to be any games in the series that are like blowouts necessarily. Like, I think this Leafs team will at least keep it interesting, keep it close. So, but yeah, I think Florida's got this one covered tonight, I think.
Something that I've noticed about this Florida Panthers team is, like, especially with like every Matthew Tkachuk interview I see, something about these guys, like, they just want to be underdogs. Like, that they crave it so bad. Like, they want to be doubted. And
they're not underdogs in this series.
No. I know, not at all. But that's always like, they're always trying to like trick themselves mentally into like, oh, people are doubting us. People are doubting us. Like, right when people, I think, start saying this series might be the Maple Leafs, I think that's when we're going to see the best Florida Panthers team, because I think they play the best when they're, being scrutinized and doubted. Yeah. And so I'm not going to say that I think they intentionally lost game 1, because that's obviously just a crazy take. But the point is like they relish these opportunities. They didn't drop game 1 after playing really poorly in the first 2 periods and like get down. Like, I promise you, in that locker room, they're not like, oh, guys, we got to figure this out. Like, what are we going to do? Like, they love having their backs against the wall. I mean, you even saw it last year. It was like they fucking take a commanding 3-0 lead against the Oilers in the Stanley Cup final. Then they blow 3 games in a row. Everybody's thinking, I really do feel like everybody was leaning Oilers last year in game 7. Yeah. And that's when they snap off their 4th and final win of the series. So
that's all we needed.
I have no problem taking this Florida Panthers team when their back is against the wall. I'm also going to be picking them to win tonight. They were minus 125 favorites in game 1. Now they are up to minus 140 favorites in this game. I think Stolarz being out maybe plays something into that. And then Ekblad drawing back into the lineup also does something for the odds.
Well, that helps a ton. Yeah.
But I just do not see the Florida Panthers putting up 2 stinker periods again, if I'm being honest with you. So I do see them winning this game. The interesting thing for me about this series is, like, when the Panthers lose games, it's because the game gets away from them. They don't have their legs, and they're not like as good as they normally are on the forecheck and in the dirty areas. Like, when the Panthers play their game to the best of their ability, they're very hard to beat. But the thing is I feel the same way, and I know this might come off as shocking. I'm going to have like a positive Leafs take here, but I feel like the Leafs are kind of the same way. Like, when the Leafs are firing at their best and the core four is playing well, they're also an extremely tough team to beat. So I'm excited for the games this series where we see both teams really bringing it and then seeing who comes out on top.
Yeah, I think the problem with the Leafs, though, is just they've lacked that consistency compared to the Panthers, right? And that belief and that confidence, right? But if they find that, then then they could be a dangerous team, right? That's definitely what I gather from game 1, where it's like, okay, I probably should take this team more seriously. Like, I still don't think they're gonna, beat them 4 times, as that's a lot to ask for against this Florida team. But no, like, they're definitely a much better Leafs team, the best that we've seen, and should be an interesting series. But I don't think there's anything to tank for in the playoffs. And in response to that, I know you're joking about the losing the first game on purpose thing, but you're not tanking everything in the playoffs. I think Florida locks in here and turns the series back in their favor. For sure. I hope so, at least. Yeah.
And something else I'll say for the Leafs perspective is, like, look, yes, the third period was nervy. You got scored on 3 times. You made a game that shouldn't have been close, a close one. But they scored 5 goals and had 5 power play opportunities and didn't convert on any of them. That's not going to be the case for the rest of the series. The Leafs aren't going to have another game where they get 5 opportunities on the peeper and are going to have nothing to show for it. These guys are just too good, too talented for that to happen. So I think if you're a Leafs fan, you should have optimism right now. Like, absolutely. Do I still think the Panthers win this series? Yes. But from a Leafs perspective, it's like, all right, we know we can score on these guys. We need to close games out better, which has been a struggle for them forever.
Big time problem. Yeah.
But look, I think if your power play can start clicking a little bit better, we'll see how Wool plays tonight. If you can get a good performance out of him, I could see the Leafs winning tonight, but I'm going to be predicting the Panthers. Should we do a score prediction here?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I will say Panthers win. I'll give it a 4-2. Yeah.
4-2. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say 4-3. I think these games this series are going to be really close. I think it's going to be razor sharp. Like even in the Tampa series, they took them out in 5, but a lot of those games were close. And so I think that's kind of how I see this series going. Yeah, I'll go 4-3 narrow edging for the Panthers. They get it done. They split it on the road, then head back to Sunrise, tied at 1-1.
Yeah, no, I'll give the Leafs credit too. It's like they've already won as much games in this series as the Bolts did, right? They've already put up a better fight, so which I didn't really expect. I think you were kind of on that train where I think you expected this game 1 performance, and I did not. But no, I think for the rest of the series, right? I think it'll start to shift here. But for the Leafs, no, it's like if you could take advantage of some power plays too, because we saw how good that was against the Senators. Like that could be a difference maker, right? Because they're not going to get nothing every game. But the also speaks to the Florida penalty kill. It's so good. So, but you're going to need your special teams, right? You can't just take this off even straight. So they're going to need that to show out if they want any chance of this series. Definitely going to need to get some production there. Yeah.
Okay. Unless you had any other thoughts, are you good on this game?
I think so. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing if the blood continues to boil here. Like I'm sure Sam Bennett's gonna have a bit of a target on his back too. So.
Oh, I guess we should.
We
should talk about that a bit.
A little bit, right? Yeah. I think. You would think. I mean, he's a guy who can answer the bell, though, right? So I'm sure. If anything, he relishes that. But he'll definitely have to keep his head up. I'm sure. At least have a few guys on this team, but they haven't really had in past years that could definitely answer the bell. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be something fun to watch in this series, just to see these teams as the series develops, right? You see these rivalries develop. And these guys look for each other every game, and that's always fun to watch.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more stuff after the whistle tonight. I would assume we're going to see some. I guess I would assume to see some frustration from the Leafs, but also you got to be careful though. You can't play You can't play that game with the Florida Panthers. Like I honestly think it would be better for the Leafs to not even acknowledge the situation at all and just go out
beat them
and
in the score sheet. Exactly. Because then that gets in your head, and then you can't play that physical style with the Panthers. You're gonna get absolutely killed, right? So you gotta focus on yourselves and don't beat Florida at their own game. It's just not gonna happen, right? So I think for the Leafs, just the Panthers are going to try to get in their heads and try not to allow them to do that. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I definitely do think the Leafs have a number of guys that I would not want any business with. They've definitely got some tough customers, but it's that's what the Panthers want on a teams. They want teams getting frustrated, engaging in this funny business after the whistle. That's what they thrive off of. And I think if you're the Maple Leafs, you try your best to not give that to them. Sure, maybe land a couple of shots on Sam Bennett here and there when you can, but I don't be doing all this funny shit after the whistle in the first period of tonight's game.
I will say I would like to see a Max Domi, Sam Bennett tussle. That'd be pretty fun.
That would be electric. I'd be down for that too.
Absolutely.
That's the early game tonight. The 6:00 Central puck drop, or it's going to be like a 6:10 puck drop, but game starting at 6. So be there for the stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. And now we've got a game 1 tonight between the Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets. This one taking place in Winnipeg. We're going to have the whiteout. Hellebuck versus Ottinger, Stars versus Jets. Justin, what do you see and what are you thinking about this for game 1 here?
Well, it's a similar type of situation where it's like I view this series in a similar light to the Capitals Kane series, where it feels like the Jets or the Caps are the team that had that super impressive regular season, but had some doubt going into the playoffs, right? Whereas the Stars are a team like the Canes who've been there, done that, have won playoff series, who are kind of adept to the style of play. And I just think the Jets are. It's gonna be a tough series for them. You edge out against the Blues barely, but the Stars, being the Avs in 7 is much different from being the Blues in 7. I think the one thing for the Jets, they do have home ice, like you said, and they have not lost at home. So that's something to take advantage of. The whiteout has been electric in these playoffs, so if they can ride that, get off to that early advantage there, maybe have the Stars chase a bit, they have a shot in this series. But I just think they're gonna have a hard time, man. Like this Stars team is so damn good. What I saw in that first round series, that for most of it, they should not have won. Yet they just found a way. That's what the Stars team does. They just had the depth all throughout the lap. There really is no weaknesses with this team. The Jets, you could spot some weaknesses. The Stars team, I fail to see any really. And if they could even get healthy as the series develops, that'd be nice too. But yeah, I think for this game one, super important for Winnipeg, right? I think for the Stars, it's less important. I think if you lose this game one, I'm not really worried about that from the Stars' perspective. We saw it against Colorado. They didn't have a great game one in that series. They didn't start that series off well. They still found a way, right? Whereas the Jets, I feel like you kind of have to take advantage of the home ice here. Right? That's kind of the one advantage they have. So a desperation game, I'm sure, for them, but I still think the Stars are going to come out on top. I just think this is a team that's definitely a notch above the wild card Blues. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I think this Dallas Stars team is a completely different challenge from the Blues.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a better matchup for the Jets in the sense that it's like the Blues game was just physicality, get down low, get in front of the goaltender, skate at these guys, be super direct, nothing like too cute, just throwing pucks on net from the point, getting deflections. That's not really the Stars game. So
yeah.
Maybe we see, I guess that's because I think I did pick Stars in 5 here. And so I'll say if that doesn't happen, I guess maybe that would probably be the narrative is like, hey, this really defensive Jets team actually does match up better against teams that are, trying to skate the puck into the zone and score goals that way. But I still just think Dallas has too much for them. Yeah. Obviously, Winnipeg were perfect at home. I mean, air quotes perfect. They didn't lose, but not perfect, but perfect. We'll see. Also, I'm seeing here on Twitter that Miro Heiskanen is ruled out for this game. He skated this morning, and Jason Robertson's actually a game time decision.
Oh,
so
I alluded to that, right? If they could get those guys back, then yeah, good luck. I think this could be a close series if they stay out for a bit, but it doesn't look like that's gonna be the case, right? Get those guys back, especially Haskin. Like they've been missing him, man. You get him back at D, that kind of matches up against Morrissey there, and get your leading scorer back. Then, yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck against a healthy Stars team. But you are right. I mean, the Blues definitely played a much different style of game that, was a bit of a nightmare matchup for the Jets. I mean, they made it as close as probably could be expected, whereas the Stars play that style of game where maybe they could find a way to shut it down. But I just think there's too much talent in this team. You can't play like that, especially in this type of year, right? It's gonna have a hard time. But also, I think a fun storyline to watch is gonna be Hellebuck versus Ottinger. I mean, those are probably your top 2 goaltenders in the Olympics for Team USA, right? 4 nations, they were there together, and Hellebuck, it's an important series for him, right? He kind of escaped that round one. He got pulled out. Like he did not. I know some people saying, "Oh, he locked in that game 7." It was still a pretty shaky game for him. Maybe in overtime he did a little bit, but for him, he gets bailed out that round one. He has opportunity here to kind of look more like himself and start being a difference maker here. Start winning your team games. They're going to need Hellebuck in this series. Like they could get away with Hellebuck not being himself against a team like the Blues. They're not going to be able to afford that against the Stars. If he gets pumped again, then this is going to be a quick series. So if they want to make this 6-7 games, Hellebuck has got to be Connor Hellebuck, or else it's going to be 4 or 5 games. Because Ottinger's clutch. Yeah.
If Hellebuck's under a 900 save percentage, the Jets have no chance in this series. Yeah, this is another last chance opportunity for Connor Hellebuck. I know that Tassos and I had the argument on Sunday, and I was like, but look, this is Team USA's goalie. I am rooting for this guy to figure it out.
We really need him to be good.
This is the test for him, though, because it's like the Stars are going to be scoring on transition. It's not going to be like this, where a lot of the goals are deflected off 3 different guys. They're
the Stars guys.
The Stars team is not a team that really overly relies on dirty goals.
Greasy goals. Yeah,
they've got so much offensive talent and they use it. And so this is the perfect opportunity in my mind for Connor Hellebuck to step up big time and shut up all the haters and all the doubters. Because look, if he can play fantastic in this series, I think this one can go longer than I predicted. Like if Hellebuck's awesome in this series, it's going to go more than 5 games.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just not betting on that after what I've seen.
I don't have that trust him. I know he claims that the weight of the world was off his shoulders after that game 7, but it's like, dude, that wasn't really you. So yeah, I just think the star power, the star power that Dallas team is gonna be hard for him to keep up with. So I did not intend that pun.
Well done with the
that
star
was something.
power.
Wow. But seriously, dude, like this is just a different team. This is a different beast. So this team is too good. After that game 7 win against Colorado, like I just think they're gonna roll through them. Like I really do. Like I know the Jets had a good. I just don't have faith in that team. I don't trust them. Even after that game 7 win, it really felt like they stole that one. Like it didn't really move me, honestly. I mean, the way that some people did. My opinions haven't really changed of this Jets team. Yeah.
Also, Justin, he says the weight of the world is off of his shoulders. If Dallas comes out in game 1 here and scores 3 early ones, I think
that's going to change.
I think the weight of the world is going to be right back on the old shoulders of Connor Hellebuck. So
exactly.
I mean, he needs to be good, and he needs to be good early for this to not be a conversation. And so I hope he can do it. I hope this is a series. But yeah, I think if I were making my predictions and betting my money, I would be on the Dallas Stars to win this series. And to be honest with you, I think I'm going to be on Dallas Stars to win tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I forget my prediction was. I think you said 5. I think I may have even said. I think I said Dallas is going to sweep the series, which
I think you might have.
Which that might age poorly, but
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to go back on it. I don't do that. I don't go back. I mean, I guess occasionally I do, but I will stick to my guns. Yeah, that one's I have a bad feeling about that prediction. To be honest with you, but no, for tonight, let's not go the whole series. For tonight, yeah, I think Dallas got this covered, and I'll say 5-3 stars.
5-3 stars. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 4-2 stars. I guess the over under is set at 5.5. So maybe I'm not cooking there, but yeah, no, I'm content with that. I'm gonna say 4-2 stars. I think Dallas scores a couple early ones. I think the Jets make it close down the stretch, and then I see the Stars pulling away in the third and maybe getting an empty netter or something.
Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts here, right? So I think a snap back to reality, another 5-goal game from Helly will get the conversations, the dialogue back going here. So that's what I want to see. Yeah.
Okay. My Wi-Fi on my computer is completely gone out.
I'm noticing. Yeah, I'm not really seeing you over there.
It's all right. As long as you can hear me and that we're all good, I'm just going to keep my Wi-Fi off my computer so it doesn't mess with anything, and I'm just going to use my phone. Let's talk about the Thursday slate before we get out of here. And there's no point in talking about Friday, obviously. So Canes Caps game 2. We talked about it in the game 1 talk, but a must win for the Caps here, no?
Oh yeah, no, they need a split. You can't afford to go down 0-2 going back to Carolina, right? I mean, so far there definitely appears to be a mismatch for them. I mean, they're definitely lacking an answer to their style of play, but yeah, you gotta get your stars going here. You gotta get those contributions for those guys. You need to win here for the Caps. I think it's definitely a must win. It feels like for game 2. Yeah.
I agree. You got to get the offense going. I think maybe some tweaks to the lines might be in store here for the Caps, just because what happened in game 1, although it was close on the score sheet, it wasn't a close game at all after all the stats we went through. So I think you need to mix up the lines, do something different, and the Caps power play is gonna have to get going. They were obviously leaning on it in round 1, and that could be honestly the biggest difference maker in this series. Is the Carolina Hurricanes penalty kill has been absolutely perfect this postseason. They haven't let in haven't let in a goal yet. And so the Caps are going to have to find a way to break through on the peeper, because I don't see them having a chance in this series without scoring on the power play. Even
strength, they're just going to get killed. So yeah, they got to find a way through special teams. But like you said, that's a tough task against Carolina. But they have the tools, they have the facilities there to break through. So they're going to have to draw some penalties there and try to get some looks there for sure. Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting one to predict, and I guess I'm intrigued to see where you go with it. Carolina is a minus 135 favorite, so nothing crazy. Washington plus 115, but still a favorite on the road. That always kind of tells you a little bit of something. What's your prediction for this game, score, and how we get there?
Well, I think it's a desperation game for the Capitals, so I'm going to bet on them. I think they have to take this win. I think if they want to make the series interesting, which I think they will. So, no, I'll give the edge to the Caps, and I will say they take it from a score of 4-2.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go with the Caps too here. This is I rarely do this, but I'm going more with my heart than my head. I just really want the Caps to make this a series. I want to see Ovi score some goals in this series. So I'll say 3-1 Capitals, an Ovi power play missile. I kind of just hope it happens. I could totally see it just being more of the same from game one of Carolina completely dictating play on 5-on-5 and then shutting down the peeper. But I hope it's not the case. As you mentioned, it is a desperation game for the Caps, and I don't really ever have a problem choosing a team that's in, a desperation situation.
They're a good enough team. They think that would be able to take advantage of that, right, and get the series kind of back in their favor and even it up. They did get dominated everywhere but the score sheet. I mean, they lost that too, but they did get dominated there. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think as much as the Canes play well, they play poorly. They're going to show up better than that and respond. So, I feel like it's a wish bet, but I think it could easily happen. Yeah.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah.
And then the later game on the 8:30 puck drop again, of course, the West Coast. We've got game 2 between the Oilers and Golden Knights. Assuming, I guess I should look up Petrangelo's situation, but assuming he's back,
he's going to be back, right?
Assuming he's back for game 3, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think that's going to help out Vegas tremendously. So yeah, I think Vegas. I favor them in this game too. Here, they're not going to lose both games at home. It's not. It doesn't feel like a must win as much for them as the other series, but it's still an important game. You don't want to go down 0-2 this Oilers team, but they could definitely win Edmonton though. But no, I think for Vegas, yeah, I think they respond here. I mean, they for most of that game, they were the better team. They just kind of let it get away from them, and I don't think they're going to let that happen again. If they're going to learn there and lock in the Oilers, but. It won't shock me if that didn't occur, though. The Oilers are rolling right now. 5 straight wins, right? Can they make it 6? They very well could. But no, I think that streak's going to end eventually. I think Vegas evens a series. Yeah.
Do you think it's almost better for the Oilers to get scored on first and let the Golden Knights get the lead and then start?
It kind of feels like that, man. It's like they get these teams right where they want them. They get them doubting and they get them kind of out of their game plan and they take advantage the rest of the game. So it's funny, man. Like it's funny that they make that work, but it feels like that can't go on forever, right? Right? Surely it can't go on forever, but it feels like that's kind of the way she's going right now. I mean, when you're hot, and you find a way to win. Even games probably shouldn't. So, but it's like they've been playing well too. Like some of those early games, like you could argue there's luck, but like lately, like, they've kind of been the better team too. Like they're kind of playing their games. So, Vegas got to get them out of that. Yeah.
Did you do a score prediction?
Score prediction, yeah, for this series, who knows?
Right. I don't even know if I should make you do this. Like,
I mean, I think for these ones, I mean, betting the overs is it's a pretty safe bet. So, I'll say 4-3 Vegas. Yeah,
4-3 Vegas. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Vegas in this second one too, because kind of the similar situation with the Capitals, where like you don't want to drop 2 at home and then be going back to Edmonton down 2, playing in that noisy ass arena with those psycho fans that all fight each other every single game.
Oilers fans are nuts, man. They're absolutely crazy.
Justin, I'm seeing Twitter every single game. There's fucking fist fights of these Oiler fans. Like,
even after they win,
what's in the water up there? Seriously. I don't know.
Canadians, when it comes to hockey, they just become a different animal, man. They become a different beast.
It obviously, just another reminder of the fact that hockey is different in Canada. So different to the point where a fan base just destroys each other from the inside while their team is literally playing well and winning series. So
sometimes they end up burning down their own cities. So you never know what's going to happen over there in Canada land when it comes to hockey, for sure. Politeness goes out the window. Yeah.
It does. But with that being said, I do lean the Golden Knights. I think that if they can get Pietrangelo back, they've learned their lessons from game one. You have to be aggressive. You have to attack this. The key to beating this Oilers team is not just
almost
sitting
to try
around.
to play their game, right? You can't even afford to really play your game. You kind of have to play different, right?
Yeah.
You can't be sitting back and be conservative. You got to be aggressive, like you said. No passiveness. That's where Edmonton's going to take advantage. Right? They're going to get those chances, right? They're going to bury you. So, you got to play the same way. 60 minutes, like you just can't afford to sit back against that team.
Yeah, I think they have to be on the front foot and be trying to score all night long if you're going to beat the Oilers. Because look, you can score on this team. They're not unbeatable.
Their defense is atrocious.
Those games Calvin Pickard has been winning, like he still looks suspect in a lot of them. Like there's little moments where it's like, oh, that was nervy. That was a big rebound. I don't think he really saw that. You got to get to this guy. You got to put shots on, and you can't stop doing it throughout the entirety of the game. Because if you just sit on your heels and defend, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl will kill you every single time. It's not even like they're at a point in their careers right now, and this is why it's so fun to watch, is like we don't see playoff games anymore where these guys don't score. They're just too good. They elevate themselves like
they're at their peak. They're at their prime.
And Justin, that's like the most fun thing to watch about superstars in all of sports is like the guys that elevate themselves when the lights get bright. We saw it in Chicago with a couple of guys, and we see it in Edmonton every single night. And that's why it's been so fun to cheer for this team, even though I can't see a world how they could possibly win the Stanley Cup this year. I want to see how far these two superstars can take it because it's so much fucking fun to watch.
I could argue there's nothing more satisfying in sports than watching a top athlete at the top of his game, like at their best. Like this right here might be this might sound crazy to say, but this might be the best we ever see McDavid Draisaitl right here. This could be both of their primes, right? It just seems like they're just in the zone right now. They're just so locked in, like they're taking it personally. They're just making it happen on their own. I mean, not entirely on their own, but like 75%, 80%, it's them doing this. So, but yeah, like the Oilers, like their offense, like their defense goaltending is sus, man. So it's like Vegas, take advantage of that. Like they're not gonna outscore you every single night if you can take advantage of that. So, they got to be able to do that.
Yeah. Leon and Connor are inevitable, but let's see how this Vegas defense holds up now that they're hopefully going to be back to full strength. I didn't see anything about Pietrangelo. I'm sure we'll probably hear more about that tonight and then
they need him
tomorrow.
Back. They need those guys for sure.
They need to be at full strength defensively if they're going to beat this Oilers team, just because it just feels like they are absolutely rocking right now offensively.
No doubt about it.
Okay, well, I think that maybe does it for the show. Oh no.
I believe you're forgetting one thing, Lee. What is it you think you're forgetting here?
Is there a more important playoff game tonight that we haven't been talking about?
Spec talk, baby. The Rockford Ice Dogs Calder Cup playoff run continues tonight. Game 3 against the Milwaukee Admirals, the biggest playoff game of the night. Let's go, baby. They have a 2-0 series lead. The Ice Dogs have not lost a playoff game, by the way. They're 4-0. They swept the Wolves. They're up 2-0 against the Admirals there. Let's keep it rolling. Let's make it 5 straight, just like the Oilers, and take the 3-0 lead here. Actually, would that be it? Because I know it starts off where it's best of 3. I think it might be best of 5, actually. This might be it. It eventually goes to best of 7 like the NHL, but I don't know. That might be like 3rd, 4th rounds. NHL playoffs are weird, but basically, if they win tonight, like they're not going to lose. They win the series pretty much, even if it's not official. So, let's see them do it. I think they're back home too. So, let's see.
Who's your prospect highlight? Who's going to have a big game tonight?
Well, Drew Commesso has been an absolute roll, man. It's like he still seems like he wants to be the guy here. We have Spencer Knight, but he seems like he's taking that personally a little bit because ever since then, he's been locking in, man. He's been outstanding for them. So, as long as he's playing like that way, like they're not really letting in anything and they're not really giving up much. So, in terms of up front, I've been really impressed with Kevin Korchinski. Like he's looked as good as I've ever seen him. So, I'll say him and Artie every night have been producing, which is what you want to see. You want to see those two guys going off. So, I'll say it's going to run through those 3, the trifecta there in the back end. Yeah.
You gave 3. I asked for 1. I was going to say Kevin Korchinski. He's been playing with a lot of confidence. I've liked the way he's looked. All the highlights that I see, I'm like, this is a different guy that we're seeing right now than we've seen in stints with the Blackhawks. So hope he can keep firing them off. There you go, you little piggies. You got what you wanted. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening today. Be there for the live stream tonight. Tell a friend about the live streams. Like, that's the easiest way to get friends. Like even if they're not Hawks fans, hey, you watching the games tonight? All right, send them the link. Just send them the link. Have them pull it up. It's going to be a lot of fun, so don't miss it. If you're new here and you have not subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button as well as the post notification bell just so you know when we're going live, because we do everything live pretty much here on Chicago Hockey Radio. If you listen to us on Apple or Spotify, please give the show a 5-star rating and review. That stuff goes a long way for us. And follow the Instagram to stay up to date. We post the schedule on there so you know when everything's coming. We do photo dumps. We're doing creative shit. I need to come up with something creative or funny today over the next few hours before the stream. So maybe be on the lookout for that. Going to be posting like an Instagram thing either tomorrow or the next day. We'll see. So yes, follow us on all those platforms, including Twitter and TikTok. And yeah, we will talk to you tonight. And Justin will be in chat tonight too, I'm sure.
Of course. Yeah.
All right.
Chat too.
All right. Appreciate you guys. See you tonight.